Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast review show for Revolution. Holy shit. This was one of the best shows I have ever seen in my entire life. What about you, man?
Yeah, no, it was very good. Very, very good. Very good show.
I'm still, even with no big, people showing up in the middle of a match, no, debuts or anything like that other than like Swerve, but unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really solid show, filled with a lot of great matches, a few decisions that I found a little questionable, but overall, excellent pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get right into it here. We started off with the pre-show, the buy-in. We had three really good matches, to be honest. Two of the three could have been on the main show.
I really thought all three of them.
Yeah, all three could have been,
to be honest. I was really surprised. I thought the buy-in was going to be a little bit more lackluster.
Absolutely.
I think this was the best buy-in AEW's really ever put together. I mean, usually it's a one or two matches with kind of lead up to the main card, but this really just felt like an extra hour of a pay-per-view. We even got a segment in there, which we'll talk about in a second. But we could start with the first match that happened, which was Kris Statlander versus Layla Hirsch. I felt like the fact that these two went on first kind of really motivated them, and I was really surprised. We talked in the pre-show about how the lack of interest in this feud isn't their fault, and the match was kind of credit to that. It was a really good match that they both went out there and really gave it their all for.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't the biggest Layla Hirsch fan, but by the end of this match, she won me over. I was perfectly fine with her taking the win. I'm hoping we start some sort of a feud here, or continue some sort of a feud here, because what do we got right now? 50-50 booking on this one right now, right? Statlander's
one. Well, they haven't had a singles match. This is their first singles match.
Those were all
there was like tag matches and stuff like that. So they haven't really had any head to head. I could see this continuing to go further. I mean, there's more to tell, and let's keep giving Statlander something to do as well. So, well, both of them something. But so the match ends with Layla Hirsch going under the ring, getting an extra turnbuckle piece.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, it was a great finish. Hits Statlander with it, and then puts her in the submission and beats her.
Yeah, I mean, even though I predicted that win, I was kind of shocked by it. I made the prediction to hopefully, introduce something different to what was happening, because I knew both you guys, because it was very obvious Statlander was gonna win, really, but.
Yeah, you started off with the points, which we will go through each match who got the points for the predictions, and at the end we will tally them up and crown the first broken predictions champion. So right now we got 1 point for Jeff.
1 point for me.
Next we got a segment which was not expecting again in the buy-in. Tony Schiavone's in the ring and he talks about having a special guest, Kenny Omega's music. And we were all not expecting that. We were all super excited. And then out comes Don Callis, Visible Hand. Great return. And, you got to think that Kenny's not too far behind.
Absolutely. There's no reason to bring Don Callis back yet without Kenny being somewhat close behind. I actually think we're going to get Don Callis for a few weeks of being Don Callis. And I think Kenny's going to show back up. But yeah, I love Don Callis. He looked like he shaved a few years off of himself to me here. I don't know if it was the haircut, the little beard stubble, or what, but he looked good. I was happy with it.
He was definitely looking good, and it was a good promo. Established that Kenny Omega is still going to be a heel. Well, Don Callis is still a heel, so blame the fans for all of Kenny's injuries. It was a great segment, and again, it's just the Bullet Club Elite thing is just going to be an underlying storyline moving forward. Yeah. So next up, we had QT Marshall versus Hook. This was a good match. This was Hook's best match. It was really kind of his first real match. I mean, we've had him kind of going in there and having like 3-minute matches here and there on Rampage, but this was kind of his first feud and his first match. And what did you think of it?
I loved this match. I think QT did just enough to show that, hey, I was this kid's teacher, but he's already good enough to beat my ass. So the student has already surpassed the master in this one. This is the way I'm looking at it. Everything Hook does, everything he does is fantastic to me. His judo is beautiful. I have nothing bad to say about Hook ever.
Yeah, it was just excellent. Comes out and he looks like $1 million and wrestles like it too. I thought this was a great match, especially for the buy-in.
I love that he doesn't talk. Like most of the time, I'm like, dude, get this guy to say something because he doesn't have anybody with him to talk for him. But his dad's on commentary, so it's almost like someone's talking for him. But I love everything about Hook. His attitude, the no talking, all of it.
Yeah, so. I think it's very on brand for his family. I mean, we were talking about it during the show, but Taz is kid, all right, but he looks better than Taz. I mean,
Taz should awesome. He should be very proud, very proud.
Absolutely. So Hook does win that. All three of us, Forrest is not here, but he's also in the runnings. All three of us predicted Hook was winning. All got a point for that. Okay, so last up on the buy-in, we had the House of Black versus Penta Oscuro, Pac, and Eric Redbeard. Man, this was a great match.
I thought this was.
Oh my god! Like there were matches on the main card that weren't as good as this. This was hard hitting. Everyone got spotlight in it. Everyone looked great. A lot of great spots. Redbeard versus Brody King. I want to see that again. Yeah. I don't think Eric Redbeard is signed. I think this might have been another one-off, but let's get him back in here and work a little bit with Brody King because that was awesome.
That spot between the two where they just kept smashing into each other, that was one of the coolest things I've seen. I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen big men, clash in the middle and just kind of stand there and look at each other all tough, but never just like over and over and over just smashing each other. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, so that match went on for like minutes.
Yeah,
25 minutes. That was a really good match, and House of Black ended up walking away with the win, which all three of us thought that was going to be the outcome. So all three of us got a point.
I went 3-0 on the buy-in.
I know. At this point, I was a little irked. I was like, man, this is, you took an early lead, and I was a little, I was excited. This is actually a really fun thing to do with this, with the show. Doing the predictions and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Tougher than I thought it was going to be to make the prediction.
So next up, we get to the main show, and we opened with Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. This was Chris Jericho's best match in AEW.
Jericho's best match in AEW, hands down. I mean, what can you say about this match? Like, Jericho lost a lot of weight for it, so he looked good. He could do his moonsault. He could do everything the old Jericho needed to do. I was super duper happy with this match. Eddie is over as hell.
Like, he is. He really is
so over right now, and I think they need to ride this momentum with Eddie because this is the type of momentum I think could go downhill real fast if they just let him kind of be. They really need to do something with this momentum.
Well, the problem with that is that there's a lot of babyface champions right now. So usually when you know how that goes, when you have a bunch of babyface champions or a bunch of heel champions, usually somebody has nothing to do. Which right now in terms of men titles, it's all babyfaces right now. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that there's not a lot of room right now for Eddie to do anything in that sense. He's gonna have to. I mean, based off how the match ends, definitely the feud's not done.
No, yeah.
But I love the way this match started. It was really hard hitting. Kingston with that nasty fucking suplex.
Yeah. I don't know if they meant to do that because they played it into the story right away. Like Jericho was all dazed.
Yeah, he dropped him on his head.
And I'm like, he looked like he did it on purpose. So that was wild.
Yeah, I thought this was excellent match. Great match to start the show. It was not the match I thought they were going to start with, but
I agree.
Great that it did. So at the end of the match, Kingston wins. He goes to shake Chris's hand. Kingston says, "Eddie, Chris, I respect you. You've earned my respect, and I'll shake my hand to show that you respect me now that I've earned yours." Yeah. Jericho says, "I can't," leaves the ring and walks away. But so this feud is definitely not over. No, I would expect to see them probably on day having another confrontation. But also wonder if Santana and Ortiz are going to come into play moving forward. Jericho seems to be working as a heel, so see if that keeps going or if that's kind of a one-off type thing.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention about this match is Jericho. He worked a match like the first half of this in Eddie Kingston's style. So like they would chest slap each other, and they were both no selling it. And I don't think I've ever seen Jericho work a match like that where he no sells some stuff. So I actually thought that was really cool that Jericho was having the first half of a match was like a new Jericho to me. So I liked it.
Yeah, definitely. So all three of us picked Kingston for this. All three of us got points. I think we were. You'll see here. We kind of go on a little bit of a run where we were kind of all in agreement generally with what happened. Got it right. I will say this: there's only one match on the card that nobody got points for. So we did pretty good overall. I think
that's the same. Crowd was not happy with. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. All right. So next up was the Tag Team Championship three-way match: Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks and Red Dragon. So we kind of talked about this on the pre-show, and we talked about it more while the match is going on. The dynamic of having, instead of having three guys in the ring and you tag your partner in and out, they went with the traditional method of having two guys in the ring, despite the fact that there's three teams. And while I don't think overall that works necessarily, I will give this match credit. I think that the dynamic of the match really allowed this to work. You know what I mean? Like the fact that the Bucks and Red Dragon were on the same page, but not really on the same page. Yeah. It really made this type of match make a lot of sense. It made sense why the Young Bucks and Red Dragon were constantly tagging each other in and out. It made sense why these things were going on. And when they did do tags, it was always the blind tag and stuff like that. So, hats off to them absolutely, because I was really concerned about how the style of match was going to play out, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, I actually kind of noticed a little bit of way through the match that this wasn't so much about match as it was about the story that this entire match was telling. This was completely starting our, Bucks versus Red Dragon feud here, because there's no way they can't feud after this. They both stopped each other from winning. The other team winds up winning, right? So, but it really, this match told an amazing story in there. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I feel a little bad because I feel like this match is going to be really overshadowed by other matches on this card.
Yeah.
I feel like, if this match is on another pay-per-view, we're talking about it a lot more. But yeah, it's a little overshadowed by some of the other matches on the card, but it was a damn good match, and Jurassic Express end up in the match. And all three of us get points for that.
And that finish, I don't know what Luchasaurus does, but he throws somebody in the air and they go flipping and flying. And then Jungle Boy catches him for a sit-down powerbomb.
I think technically it's called an alley-oop. What Luchasaurus does, I think Big Show used to.
It is insane.
Yeah, it's called an alley-oop because he just kind of like locks them up. Yeah. And then Jungle Boy's just there to catch him and just.
That's one of my favorite finishers in wrestling, right? So good.
It's excellent. But yeah, so all three of us got the points for that too. We all took Jurassic Express, and so next up we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and that was Christian Cage versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Starks versus Wardlow versus Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy. I thought this was a really, really good match. I thought this was an excellent ladder match. Again, the dynamic of it was a lot different than what we usually get out of ladder matches, and I really loved it for that.
Yeah, this was probably my favorite ladder match I've seen in a long time. The only one I can think that even comes close, I don't even know what match it was, but Kevin Owens got put through a ladder on the side of the ring. But this is the best match I've seen in so long in a ladder match.
Yeah, I mean, again, the spots were just like, because you had the three big guys and just Orange Cassidy crawling on top of them.
That was great.
Man, Orange Cassidy kind of stole this match for me. Like he really like he was the star in this match. It was great.
I was laughing immediately as he rolled into the ring and just rolled all the way out, and then the bell rings. It was perfect.
I love Orange Cassidy. I think he's fantastic. But so I mean, I think this ladder match had a little bit of everything, minus any high flying. There was no high flying in this ladder. But again, like, I thought it was a great match for it. It was something unique and different. It was a ladder match that, like, I can't compare that to any other ladder match I've really ever seen.
Oh, you're right. I was just thinking, like, I was like, wait a minute, there had to be a high flying spot, but I don't remember any.
I mean, Ricky Starks was in it, but like he didn't really do any high flying.
The only high flying spot I can think of is
the spear through the table from, or spear through the ladder.
The spear through the ladder, and I mean, when Keith Lee Uncle Phil'd Orange Cassidy, I mean he threw him pretty high.
Yeah,
they failed to catch him, by the way.
Which also, I mean, I mentioned it, but that Ricky Starks spot, spearing him through the ladder, diving through the ladder, that was.
I didn't even think that was possible.
Like,
how did he even do that?
I don't know. Great. But so Wardlow ends up winning this match. Yes. I really love the dynamic that Wardlow played up here. You didn't give. I don't think you gave all three of us. But like the dynamic that Wardlow wasn't chasing guys up the ladder. Like he would be at the bottom of the ladder and he's like, "Come on down. Like let's not do this tired old thing where I push the ladder over and you stand up. Like just come down and fight me."
That was one of my favorite parts of this. Because it happened twice, and I've never seen it before. Usually they climb up and start punching each other on the top. This was just perfect the way. It was almost like somebody had watched a ladder match for the first time, and they were like, "Why would they?" You know.
Yeah, it just made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was an excellent ladder match. 2 tables get broken in this. If you were listening to the pre-show, we made predictions about ladder matches or tables getting broken. You know, with the sake of the pod. I chose 2, Forrest chose 3, and you chose 4. Oh no, other way around.
I chose 3,
and Forrest chose 4. And so far we're on pace for me to get the point. Let's see if I get the point.
Yeah, we'll see.
We shall see.
Now the Sammy Guevara, or wait, that's not the match we're talking about. Or never mind.
No
match. He was not in that ladder match.
So next up we get a little special announcement. Swerve Strickland, All Elite. Now you made a wild card prediction. You were so close here.
Like 3 minutes off.
You were 3 minutes off. You predicted that Swerve was gonna debut during the ladder match. Yep. He did not. He debuted directly after the ladder. But you know, maybe next time. Maybe next time. I think this is a good signing. I haven't seen much of his work, to be honest. But I'm of the opinion that, you know, just keep making the roster stronger. Yeah. You know, I mean, who knows what they're gonna do with Ring of Honor? Who knows? You know, who else's contracts may be coming up. Like Tony Khan should just keep on this roster and keep shaping it and tuning it into the best roster it can be. Because this is the type of shows it puts out. You know. All right. So next up we had the TBS title match. Jade Cargill defending against Ty Conti. Wow.
Yeah. This was definitely the match everybody thought was going to be the worst match of the night. And was not.
Not by a long shot.
Yeah, I thought both ladies did absolutely great. The training with Bryan Danielson is 100% noticeable in all of Jade's matches now. She ties things together beautifully.
Yeah, I was very surprised, you know, and I'm willing to, you know, admit when I was wrong. And I was sitting here in the pre-show really shitting on this match, and I was 100% wrong. I thought that both of them were fantastic. I don't know what it was. I mean, the thing about Jade, and you know, we discussed this, is that Jade can be really hot and cold. Where it'll be like some weeks it's like, wow, what an amazing performance, and other weeks it's like, that really felt. This was one of those performances where it's like, you know, I thought the stage was going to be too big for them, but it absolutely wasn't. They went out there and they had an amazing match, you know, and great spots, you know, all around great match. I enjoyed Jade getting a live music entrance. That was really cool.
The guy playing the guitar, that was cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. But you know, it was a great match, and it went a lot better than I thought it was going.
Yeah, my concern was going to be with Ty Conti. You know what I mean? She has some good and some bad matches, but she did great. Jade did great. I loved everything about this match.
So Jade wins, and we once again all picked Jade to win. So we all get 3 points. Or I do have tallies. All right, so next up was the dog collar match. CM Punk versus F.
Yes. What's up, Alex? Welcome to the stream, bro.
What's up, man?
The dog collar match.
Yeah, dog collar match. What a match, man.
Oh my god.
So we start out with MJF. Well, we start out with CM Punk's music. We think Punk's getting the first entrance. Fans get, you know, they do the pop. Fans are excited for CM Punk. You know, I'm always super excited to see CM Punk. I think that we're extremely lucky that we have Punk here in this company. and all that he can bring, But so it's a swerve. MJF comes out, he interrupts Punk's music, ruins the pop for Punk, or so he thinks. MJF comes out to storm of boos. Guy's the best heel in the business right now, hands down. And then Punk's music hits, and it's his old ROH theme.
That is Misery Cantaria by AFI. One of my favorite songs.
Yeah, dude, this was so cool. It was just, and it was total mind games messing with MJF, but like came out and his gear was very reminiscent of ROH. His entrance, like he looked like CM Punk from 2004.
Yeah.
And I think we got that Punk tonight.
Oh yeah.
Like in this match, like this was a really brutal match. It definitely didn't disappoint. Thumbtacks got involved at certain points, which is always fun. Yeah, I mean this is a great match. What did you think?
Well, go to the thumbtack spot. Thumbtacks do something inside me that make me squirm in my chair when the match is going on. So I was totally into it until that point, but I was still into it. This match was absolutely amazing. More storytelling here. Just CM Punk is a master of just everything he does in the ring. Just believable. Can't say enough.
Yeah,
I was extremely impressed in this.
He's the best in the world.
Yeah, he's the best in the world. There it is. The moniker fits.
Something I love that was a little thing that we don't really see very often. Well, actually, the first time it was kind of flipped was partway through the match, Max gets busted open. He's getting the shit kicked out of him. Fans start chanting, "You deserve it."
Yes.
I thought this was a great twist on that chant. I thought that the Orlando crowd tonight was awesome. Yeah. As to be expected. They really brought it tonight, apart from the one part of the night where,
Yeah. Get to that.
We'll get to that. I think we're getting pretty close to it, but yeah, this was an amazing match, and the ending kind of continued. We talked about it during the pre-show with Wardlow. So we get to the end of the match. At this point, both Punk and MJF are busted open. They've been beating the hell out of each other with the dog collar and the chain and the thumbtacks, and MJF realizes he's in trouble, so he calls for Wardlow. Wardlow comes out in a suit, looking kind of used, I would say.
Yeah.
And he's asking for the ring, and he's like, "Oh, where did I leave it in my other? I thought I brought it with." Oh, this is so embarrassing. He's looking for it. Punk knocks him out, and Wardlow's like, "Oh, wait a second, I didn't check this pocket.
It is.
I'll just leave this right here for you, CM Punk." And then CM Punk hits him with the Dynamite Diamond ring, knocks him out, and wins the match.
So the thumbtacks, when he hits him with that Dynamite ring, MJF goes back first into the thumbtacks, and I don't know what it is about thumbtacks, man. They make me squirm in my chair, but it was great. Excellent match. They both had thumbtacks stuck all over them. I thought this was a very good way to finish the match. It still sort of protected MJF giving Punk the ring, even though he had just got his ass beat. But, still, I think MJF's going to continue. He's not going to lose his momentum from this. So, very good match.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where Punk goes after this. I mean, after the match, Punk was kind of signifying that he next up is the championship.
Yeah.
I'm all for him getting a title shot. I think, he's had some credible feuds. He's shown that he can still go. So, I mean,
I'm for it too.
I'm for it. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, I think we know where MJF and, I think we know where he's going next.
Yeah.
But this was probably, now that it's over, it's kind of sad, but this was my favorite feud in AEW history. I mean, this was, every week it was amazing 5-star promos, and then the time that they got into the ring together, whether it was, a singles match or a tag match or whatever it was, which it didn't happen often, but that made you want it more. I thought that the build-up was fantastic and excellent. Payoff was excellent too.
Yeah.
And this was a 5-star one for me. Very, very good match.
This feud started last year. So if this whole feud had been shifted just a little bit to all last year, this would have been the feud of the year by far.
Yeah. See, I would still say that it could be in the running for this year.
It'll be for this year.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So you and I get the points for this one.
Yep.
Because we both chose Punk to win.
Forrest did not.
He did not. During the pre-show, we definitely thought it was crazy, and it ended up being crazy.
I do want to point out that I said Wardlow was going to come down and not help MJF. That is what happened.
Very true. All right. Next up, we have the Women's Championship match. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Start with a positive. That Women's Championship belt looks really, really good, and I really like it.
So we got to say this. I was literally, before Britt Baker walked out, I said, guys, that women's title needs to be updated. Compared to the TBS title, it's a little lacking now because of its size. Literally 3 seconds later, Baker comes out with the new title. I was like, there you go.
Yeah. And I thought it was great. And I thought Britt had a really nice entrance. Her gear really matched the new belt. Thought it was great.
Yeah.
What followed afterwards was the worst match of the night.
Absolutely.
I thought it was an okay match at best. And so based off of what's coming up, which we'll get to in a little bit, towards the end of the show, I can see that this is going towards a rematch in 2 weeks in Rosa's hometown. And I understand that, it's in the long run, it's not going to be a big deal, but, sitting here at, 12:30 at night after the show, match really left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, a lot of people from the crowd are saying the same thing. They gave us every reason to believe Rosa was winning, and then just... Oh.
Yeah. And I understand the old heel stick of, their manager gets involved and it costs, then they win the match because of the interference or the distraction. But it happened too many times in this match. There was 5 distractions where Thunder Rosa had the match won, and I think 2 or 3 is the most you can. I think 2 is the most you.
Where was Mercedes Martinez? You know what I mean? They were tag team partners last Friday.
Yeah.
And then we have Jamie Hayter and Rebel interfering, and Mercedes is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I was worried when Britt took the pin against Rosa on Rampage, and it was well founded. It was, or it was on Dynamite. It was on Dynamite. Yeah. It was on Dynamite. It was well founded to be concerned about that because Britt Baker ends up winning, and again, in 2 weeks from now, it's completely different situation where we're talking about it in a completely different light.
Yeah.
But tonight it just felt tone deaf. Tony Khan doesn't make a lot of booking errors in my opinion, and I just think this was a mistake. But again, if you try to look at the bigger picture, assuming that Thunder Rosa wins in 2 weeks, it changes that narrative. But we're reacting to right now in the moment post show. So I thought again, it wasn't a bad match. I thought Thunder Rosa was really bringing it.
Yes, Baker was sloppy. It looked like she forgot how to wrestle a couple times. There was a few times where I saw her just stand there and wait for Rosa to do something to her. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with Britt Baker. It's just this title reign just hasn't done anything for me. It just, and I was hoping even tonight maybe I wish I could feel good about it, but I just
I think one of the things is one of the big deals from her match with Rosa the first time was the bloody face. I mean, there's a t-shirt made of it. There's an action figure made of it.
Right.
We haven't seen her even come close to bleeding since. Not even close. Not even in a match where we thought someone might be bleeding. So, what made her who she is, they never gave to us.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit of what's happening here.
So, yeah, I think that they started off so strong, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
And honestly, her competition, I don't think they've put any of the legit people up against her to have a good match. Where's Kylan King? Where's drawing a blank now, but where's they ever give the bunny to her? I know they did the Jade Cargill, but
no, I don't think the bunny ever faced her. I mean, but I don't know, it just kind of fell flat, and it's very disappointing, very underwhelming. Expect better from her because I've seen her be fantastic. So hopefully maybe moving on from the title will help with that. Really hope that we see that happen in 2 weeks. We'll talk about it when we get to it.
After tonight, it better.
It doesn't, then that really kills this match. So no points, only show match of the night.
Yep.
Where we were all wrong. We thought that this was one of the most foregone conclusions where we all agreed on it, and not happen. All right. Next up was Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. This match for me was very good, but like, did it feel slow to you?
Yes, because they started out both of them technical wrestling, and Moxley's not a technical wrestler, so I felt like they had to slow it down a bit just to make sure Mox believable in what he was doing. But yeah, it did seem a little slow. I saw some people saying that the match was purposely like anti-fan because the way that they were doing certain stuff, the fans didn't have any time to like pop. There was nothing to pop for or chant for at the moment, but the way they finished it, I think, is what made everything. Storytelling. Yeah, I don't think this match was about the match as much as it was the story that's about to start here. You guys have heard me talking for weeks about stable with Mox and Danielson, and as soon as they released Regal, that was the first thing I said. Please put him with Mox and Danielson. And when he popped up just now, I lost my shit.
You did.
If I didn't know your wife was upstairs sleeping, I may have like screamed. That was Regal's a big deal to me. He's one of the first matches that I can remember watching as a kid. I remember watching his match with Goldberg where he didn't let Goldberg squash him, threw him around the ring for 8 minutes. So Regal's got a big place in my heart.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. I knew that meant a lot to you, and being a big Regal fan as well. Like, it's just really fucking cool. It was the feel good moment of the night for sure. I mean, seeing him come out, and it looks like we are gonna get this stable with Moxley, Danielson with William Regal at the side. Somewhere right now, watch that, and my guy Trips. He's really upset right now. He's not doing too hot.
Yeah.
Somebody please call Paul Levesque. Make sure he's okay. I love Triple H. I love Paul Levesque. Fuck the Fed, but not him. That was a moment where it's like it was double feeling for me, where it's like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And like, Triple H, man, his guys, they're all moving on. They all had to go. They got rid of all of them.
Half of NXT is in AEW now.
Yeah, when WWE said NXT was developmental, they weren't talking about for them.
Yeah, they weren't kidding.
No, not at all. But so this was a really hard hitting match, really enjoyable. Down the stretch, a little slow. For me, the match didn't 100% meet my expectations. But like you said, I think I agree with you. I don't think that was the intention. It was definitely not meant to be a crowd pleaser. But all around, I thought that was a really good match.
Yeah.
The points went to me and Forrest.
Yes.
We both picked Moxley to win. You picked Danielson.
So you and I are tied up and 4 behind.
Yep. All right. So next up, we had the AFHO: Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Andrade versus Sammy Guevara, Sting, and Darby Allin. And
holy shit!
Right?
There was a Spanish fly off of the entrance tunnel through a table.
Yep. So that was one table. So at this point, Jeff here had the point. I lost the point. I made it so far into the show, and I was begging for no more tables. It's a very rare occasion where
wild.
I was like, no more tables, please. But no, Sammy Guevara puts Cassidy through the table with the Spanish fly off the top of the stage. That was nasty. That was really great.
Yeah.
All around, this was a really great match that really exceeded expectations. The way the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match failed pretty badly to meet expectations, this match far surpassed it. I thought this match was going to be like a quick little 10-minute get in, get out before the main event, move the story forward where they kick Hardy out, and it wasn't that. Like, these guys went out and they had a war. They had some great spots. You had a 62-year-old Sting. They put up 4 more tables. Sting jumps from an awning down through the tables. Puts was that Hardy? Yeah, put Matt Hardy. Put Matt Hardy through the 4 tables, and I'm like, dude, Sting is 62 years old.
That was absolutely crazy.
And see, like, that's what I'm talking about when the critique that oh well, Sting is 62 part-timer wrestling. What's the problem with the Fed doing that? The problem is that number one, Sting is actually going out there and wrestling and putting effort out. Number 2, you don't see Sting in the main event for the this was a great match, and everyone involved looked great. Excited to see where we go from here with this. Matt Hardy ate the pin.
Yep.
AFHO lost, and it was on Hardy.
Didn't get kicked out right away. I thought for sure that Isaiah Cassidy and Andrade were going to get in the ring and fall upon him, and it didn't happen. So.
Well, my assumption is that they're going to wait till Jeff Hardy can appear, and make the save. So I would assume that we might not even hear anything about this Wednesday. We'll probably hear about San Antonio. Sure, that would be my guess. So points, just me.
Yep.
You guys both picked the AFHO to win this.
All right, so Roma's taken the lead.
I have, and we're heading into an event. We had Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Title. I mean, I loved Adam Cole's Master Chief.
Yeah,
I thought that was really dope. He's a really big Halo fan, so I thought that was really, really cool touch to get in there. I thought this was a great match. I thought that, I think the second half was a lot stronger than the first half, personally. Yeah. I thought the last 5 minutes especially were phenomenal. Really excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything I expected it to be. Both guys, good as they always are, if that makes any sense. I really enjoyed the crowd in this match. The crowd, they were chanting, "Let's go, Adam," half the time. They were chanting, I mean, every form of Adam you can think of, they were making up a chant for it. So this crowd was having a blast. I do think the crowd made the match. Without the crowd doing that, I think it would have just been another normal world title match for Hangman. But I think the crowd actually elevated this match up a notch to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know which match I like more in terms of Adam Page's title defenses, because I really enjoy the Brian Danielson matches. But I thought this was a really good match. It showed that, Cole and Page have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
Again, for me, I think the last 5 minutes of the match are just like the best part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of like the amount of false finishes, the style of the finishes, it was really good. Halfway through the match, Red Dragon comes out, not the Bucks, but Red Dragon comes out. They're trying to help Cole. Then the Dark Order comes out, and again, Dark Order, just same old.
Need a leader and a purpose. I mean, I'm one of the biggest Dark Order fans in the world right now, but they have no leader and they have no purpose. So
I did think there was an interesting spot where Adam Page pushed Reynolds.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be where he didn't know who was standing over him, because the whole time he was looking down at the floor. But I do get it. Like, he pushed him away. I don't know,
because for the sake of kayfabe, it still doesn't make sense why he would push him into Red Dragon, unless there was some sort of story to tell there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's interesting, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for me, if it ends up being nothing, then I'm just going to continue. I love all those guys in the stable. I need them to do something. Like we were talking, like Cole Cabana was there. Like, I haven't seen Cole Cabana in like 3 months. Like, where has he been at? Like, I mean, maybe he's off TV for a reason, but at the end of the day, he hasn't been there. Like, none of them have been. I just need to see more. I'm not seeing enough from the Dark Order to justify the TV time. Coming out in such a main spot in the main event, it's a big deal. I would have rather see the Bucks come out and save Adam Page, to be honest.
That would have made more sense at the moment too. Just give the Dark Order a purpose. They're too big of a group to not have a reason to exist. You know what I mean? Like,
got to be careful. Look at what happened with the NWO.
Yeah, like even the Inner Circle, like they have a reason to exist. Or the Pinnacle had a reason to exist. Dark Order right now, they're just a bunch of goofy dudes. We got to give them a purpose.
100% agree. But the ending of the match was great. Hangman Adam Page retained finish. At the end of the match, he shakes an unconscious Adam Cole's hand, and we close the show out. And point-wise, I was the only one that picked Adam Page winning.
And steals the win for Rome.
Yeah, just to go through our wild card predictions from the pre-show. Again, you picked that Swerve was going to debut in the ladder match. You were close. You were really close. I think you would it have tied it up, or no? I still would have been ahead by one. I think.
Yeah, I think you would have been.
I made a prediction that we were going to see Cody leading the ROH into an invasion angle here.
Yep.
Admittedly, I guess it is the that. I mean, Tony Khan probably just bought it a week ago. he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do. So I understand it not happening. Forrest, something similar. He expected Kenny Omega to return and an ROH invasion to start. But he was kind of close too with Don Callis. So, I mean, like, there's definitely some shades of, definitely some accuracy there. I think we're all on the right track of what's coming.
To go back to the Cody point there too soon, I think there may have been plans for it to happen tonight. And I think the Double or Nothing pay-per-view selling $1 million in 5 minutes may have changed that plan. I think they may have been like, wait a minute, let's put this in Vegas. I think the invasion may happen in Vegas.
Really?
Just because that's a big deal. They've never sold out. They've never sold $1 million at the gate on the day of.
That's true.
Tickets being available. And it happened in about 5 minutes.
You're definitely right about that.
And I believe that's 30,000. I can't remember exactly how many it holds, but it's close to 30,000. So that is very impressive. I think it means they could do the same with the Garden. The Garden holds it. Yeah. Big deal.
Yeah, definitely. So that was AEW Revolution too. Overall, it was an excellent pay-per-view. I think I don't want to say put the women's title on the buy-in, but like if you switch the women's title with like the House of Black match, that's a 5-star pay-per-view.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out where I would have switched a couple of things around, and all I would have done is swap the 2 women's matches in their positions. So the Jade Cargill match, I would have put in the Britt Baker position. Just because the last few Britt Baker matches have been a little underwhelming, and we've been sort of disappointed with her title reign. So I think you could have assumed that this might be the worst match of the night. But, like, most people probably would have thought it was going to be the Jade Cargill match. But, it's on the rise, and I think she's doing a lot better. I think that would have been the change I would have made if I would have swapped those 2, but it probably wouldn't have made sense considering it's the best title in the.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely interesting. All right. So, real quick to close out the show, we do have matches announced for Dynamite.
Okay.
We have a title versus streak match. Sammy Guevara defending his 2 TNT titles for some fucking against Scorpio Sky. This is going to be probably a very good match. I would expect this to show next week or on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Very excited for it.
Ooh, and I have to say that I really, really, really hope Scorpio Sky wins this. I never in a million years thought I would say that. Not a big Scorpio Sky fan. I love this new character he's playing in the minute here where he doesn't talk too much. Lets Dan Lambert do the talking. Sits there looking cool. Yeah, I hope he wins, and I hope when he wins, when they hand him both belts, I hope he takes the interim belt and throws it on Sammy's lifeless body and walks off with one. That's what I would
hope so.
That's what I would hope to happen.
Yeah. And then we also got, we talked about the women's title match, and I think this was announced kind of now in response to it. Yeah. But we have a number 1 contendership match already, and it's Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa. Number 1 contendership match, and then it goes on next week or in 2 weeks now in San Antonio for the women's title. And I don't know if this was the plan all along in terms of announcing the match tonight, but I mean clearly this was this very negatively received match. It's definitely a black spot on the card.
Yeah.
So I part of me wonders, did Tony Khan do this now to let people relax? There's a story here. We have a plan.
Yeah, he definitely. I do believe that's why they announced that match, because people were audibly not happy with it in the audience and all over Twitter. So I think that might have been a knee-jerk response of like, hey, hold on, we have a plan for this. Don't worry.
Right.
So they showed us that they have the plan, but if this plan doesn't work out on that Wednesday, there are going to be some upset fans because
I think ourselves included.
Rosa might be the biggest thing in women's wrestling right now. Like, I don't even think Becky has anything.
No, not at all.
So
absolutely not. I don't think there's anything in the Fed going on that's hot right now.
They try to make you think it is.
Keep an eye on the garden. Keep an eye on the garden.
Keep your eyes on the garden.
Always keep your eyes on the garden.
All right.
Got just about wraps us up here. Do you have anything you want to touch on?
Oh, I think that was it.
Hopefully, you can mail the championship. That's fine.
Yeah, once we get it created,
I'll be ready for it. I'll have a spot.
Yeah, so what we'll do is if I have it by the next pay-per-view, which is like 3 months, that's probably not a big issue. Should be able to do it by then. Once I get that tax return, you know what I'm saying? But my guy's in Pakistan. He makes them by hand, so he's going to have to create it first, and then he'll have to see what's up. This was the best pay-per-view I have seen since the last pay-per-view. Every single time AEW does a big show, it's just this is the best one since the last one.
I think this was better than the last one.
Yeah.
I don't think it was better than All Out, but it was definitely better than Full Gear. I think this was a better show than Full Gear.
Yeah.
But yeah, All Out was I don't know. All Out's their best pay-per-view of all time in my opinion.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're topping that right away or anytime soon. But we'll see. I mean, an excellent card, 5 out of 5. Probably a top 3 or 4 show for them all time.
Absolutely. Well, that was it. We only had one bad match, little blemish on the card, but
which I don't even think was bad. I think it was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't bad.
Just a bad finish.
Yeah, bad finish. It would have been considered an okay match if it wasn't for.
Listen, Tony Khan gets the Booker of the Year. He's not perfect. He's not going to nail it every single time.
Yeah.
Can't hit a home run with every swing.
I think the difference is that like at least there's effort.
Exactly.
Like we get mad at WWE for making bad decisions just because all they do is make bad decisions and made it very clear that they don't care about making. I'm never gonna that's why we sit here. I love AEW. We both love AEW very strongly. But it's not always gonna be perfect.
No.
But you know what? The attempt is made, and I'm not gonna sit here and be super upset over a bad finish in an excellent card.
Yeah. I mean, my intelligence wasn't insulted.
Exactly.
Right. So that's one of my big things.
That's the big.
And I wasn't told we give you the fans what you want, and when we fucking don't. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
I mean, bad example for this Thunder Rosa match here because we wanted Thunder Rosa, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
All right, guys. So that does it for tonight. I got to drive home, and I'm sure Rome wants to get to bed. So, Alex, if you're still here, my dude, thank you very much for hanging out. Anybody else as well? Thank you, guys. Peace. Gotta get to the exit screen. Yeah.